This is the next part of the geometry review, writing some equations. We've got appears to be a rectangle here. It has a perimeter of 32 inches, so I will write that down. Perimeter is 32. It's 3 times as long as it is wide. I want to find the area, and it wants me to write and solve an equation. Remember that if you use 2 variables, you're going to end up needing multiple equations in a system, and that's a lot of extra work. So I always try to write equations with 1 variable if I can. And notice, one side is 3 times as long as the other, 3 times as long as it is wide. So I could make the width x or w or something like that, and it means it's going to be 3 times as long. That would be 3x. Now, they're talking about a perimeter here. What is a perimeter? Well, the perimeter is the sum of the side lengths, right? So I need to label all of these sides. And by the way, this question really was not written very well. It really should tell you that that is a rectangle. If they don't tell you it's a rectangle, we don't know any of this. So we're going to have to make that assumption this time, but I think that's what was intended. So remember, when you're writing an equation, you usually have things that add up to equal a total, or you have things that are equal to each other and you're setting them equal. That's a pretty high percentage of the equations you'll see in a geometry class. So what we have here is all of those sides add up to equal a perimeter of 32. Okay, and if we add all this up, 6x, 8x, is equal to 32, and if we solve here, we're going to find out that x is equal to 4, okay? They want us to find the area, so we do need the original side lengths again. So if x is 4, that would be 4. 3 times 4 would give us 12 for that side. Area, you can take the base times the height, so 12 times 4 is equal to 48 square units. Actually, it's square inches here because that was the unit they used in the problem. All right. Next one, we have angle measures. Angle WXY is a right angle, so we know that this whole angle here is 90 degrees. Might want to label that. The measure of angle 2 is 32 degrees and 11 minutes and 14 seconds. And they want me to find the measure of angle 1. So I know the whole angle is 90. I know this lower part. I can subtract this lower part from the full angle to get the upper part. So we're going to be taking 90 minus 32 degrees and 11 minutes and 14 seconds. Now, I don't want to have a 0 here and a 0 here and subtract and have some negative values in my equation, or in my expression here. So remember, you can borrow a degree. I can drop this down to 89 degrees. 1 degree is equal to 60 minutes, and I can bring that over here, okay? And I can do exactly the same thing here. If I want seconds, I can borrow 1 minute and turn it into 60 seconds. And now I can subtract, okay? And I think this is going to end up being 46, and this is going to end up being, what is it, 48, I think, and is that 57, I think, ends up being our missing value, okay? So that ends up being our angle measure there, all right? Next one, we have measure of angle 1. It's 105 degrees and 10 minutes and 15, really should say seconds there. I think the copy might have cut off. Should be seconds though. Measure of angle 2 is 20 degrees, 14 minutes and 50 seconds, okay? And I've labeled my diagram. They want me to find the measure of angle 3, which would be this angle down here. Well, if you look at it, yeah, it looks like there's not enough information to be able to do that. But remember that we are allowed to assume straightness. We can assume that that's a straight angle, angle ABD there. And since ABD would be a straight angle, we know that that whole angle would add up to 180 degrees. And so we should be able to subtract these other 2 angles out of 180 and be left with the measure of angle 3. So I think I'm going to add these 2 together first. I'm going to take my 105, 10, 15. I'm going to add my 20, 14, 50. And so 15 and 50, that's 65. 10 and 14, that's 24. And we get 125. Now, we're not done. We want to kind of tidy this up a little bit. 65 minutes. I can take away 65 seconds. I can take away 60 seconds and then increase my number of minutes by 1. So that's going to be 125 degrees, 25 minutes, and 5 seconds. Now, that's what these two angles add up to. I can take that away from 180, and I can get the measure of angle 3. So I'll take my 180 degrees, I'll subtract this 125, 25, 5, and same kind of borrowing that I had to do before. I'm going to drop this to 179. 1 degree is equal to 60 minutes, so that's going to become a 60 there. And then I can borrow one of those minutes, which will drop me to 59 minutes, and that'll give me 60 seconds. 60 minus 5 is 55. And 59 minus 25 is 34, I think. And then 179 minus 125. Let's see, that would be 54 degrees, I think. 34 minutes and 55 seconds.